Hey guys, how's everybody doing? With the release of A Quiet Place Day 1 today, and since I reviewed the original A Quiet Place, here are my thoughts on its sequel, A Quiet Place Part 2. Nothing happened the first time. I think I'm okay. Fuckers. Starting off with my positives on A Quiet Place Part 2 is something that I really enjoyed about the movie from the opening of the movie, which is a prequel showing us the first day the creatures came down to Earth and basically took over the entire world. And the opening of the movie shows you what happened at the very beginning and shows you what happened on day one of the apocalypse, and because of this opening is why I'm so excited to watch A Quiet Place day one, is because of this opening. That is why day one made it on my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year this year, because of this opening. Because I generally don't like prequels. I don't like the idea of them. They've never come out to me as just like, we need a prequel to this movie, but because of the opening of this movie is why I'm excited for day one, because the intro of the movie is great, because what I like about it is that it just doesn't reveal a lot. It doesn't show you too much on how this world became the way it does, because like you kind of have an idea of it. Like, sure, we don't really know where the creatures really came from. They are just there. We don't really know where they came from, but in the opening, it's kind of predictable what they are, is they're aliens, because these meteor-like things are kind of crashing down. Everybody was freaking out, so they get in their cars and everything, slowly drive away. Then all of a sudden, a monster or just weird creature just shows up out of nowhere and starts just wreaving havoc and just fucking people up, basically. Like, I love the intro to where it has like you on the edge of your seat, just tense the entire time, because the excuse me, the family is going to get away, but it just leaves you on the edge of your seat because it's so well done. And what I love about the opening is just how many one takes there are. Like, my favorite one that comes to my mind is with Emily Blunt and the family, to where they're in the car, they're driving, and then they see this creature kind of jump on the bus, and no, they see this creature jump on this woman's car, and they slowly back up, and then this bus slowly comes towards them. And what I like about that shot too, and you might miss it because it's a blinking and you miss it because you're focusing so much on Emily Blunt, you can see that a hand comes out of that bus, and that is a very creepy shot and a very well done sequence, to where I love that John Krasinski did that. And that's not the only one take in the beginning. There's also a one take to where John Krasinski is like walking to his truck, gets in, talks to his daughter a little bit, gets out of the truck to talk to the officer, and then all of a sudden this creature shows up and just knocks over this car. Great one takes in the beginning. Not only a great sequence, not only just it's a great tense opening to this sequel, and it just shows that this movie had a bigger budget. It just shows you that this can be a great prequel, and it was just a great opening, and it was just a great way to hook your attention to this world again. And it's probably my favorite part of the entire movie. I fucking love the entire opening of this movie, as you can see me blabbering about. In addition to this franchise that I really liked, and I'm really hoping he shows up in part three, is Killian Murphy. And I've come to love that guy and respect that guy even more after Oppenheimer, which was my favorite movie of last year. He absolutely deserved that Oscar, so congratulations to him for that. And Killian Murphy, this guy just seems to just show up out of nowhere for me sometimes. Because, like, when Oppenheimer was coming out, I knew who he was because of, like, Scarecrow and all that. Excuse me, but after seeing that movie, it makes me appreciate this guy a lot more. I keep burping, stop it! But his addition to this movie and to this franchise is great. I think he's a great addition. I do believe is a good, like, co-lead in this movie, to where he kind of becomes like the brand new John Krasinski in a way, to where at the same time he doesn't, but he's just a great addition to this movie, and he gives off a great performance, to where he's kind of beaten up from the last few years, like the past year after the apocalypse. He lost his wife because of a disease. He lost, unfortunately, both of his sons, and he's all by himself, and he has nothing left. And he's just great in this movie because he's able to pull off an emotional performance, but also kind of having a very serious performance as well. Killian Murphy is absolutely fantastic in this movie, as he always is, and there's no debate why he is an Oscar winner finally. Something that A Quiet Place Part 2 does so brilliantly, and what I believe every sequel should do, is that this movie expands the world more, to where we go to larger areas, to where That's what I've always said that a good sequel should do. You have your setup with the first movie, you kind of get the idea of what this movie is about. You have your characters, you have your creature, you have everything that just set up from that first Quiet Place movie. But when you have a sequel, you should expand the world, and this movie does exactly that. This movie expands the world. You go to different areas. They go to this other island that we find out that these creatures can't swim, so these people are on this island kind of living life as normal, just living like normal life basically. And I just love that how we go to different areas and we go to larger aspects in this movie builds up the world more to grab more of your attention. That is why I prefer this movie over the first one, is because this movie really gets you into this world, because the first one was more of a family centric film. That movie mostly focused on that family and just them trying to live this apocalypse. But in this movie, it shows you everything this world has to offer you. It shows you what these creatures have done to this world and what it's done to people. Because what I a little so ideas that I liked about the movies is like, since we go to larger areas and bigger places, we also get to see other people. And it's like any apocalypse movie is, people are going to try and fucking kill you for your items. They're going to fuck you up just so they can get your stuff. And there's a part to where Killigan Murphy and the daughter are on this boat dock, and these weird ass people come along, and they're just like holding them hostage and possibly trying to rape the little girl. Like, moments like that, it's just like you get to see other people, the way they've been living in this world, and you just see other expanded areas in this world that I just absolutely love that they did. Another thing that a sequel should do is, when you have, what I love about the first A Quiet Place, and why I think the the creatures in that movie are so cool, is that you don't really see them much. They're hidden in the shadows. You see them in quick cuts, quick glimpses of them. You don't really get to see them much because of dark areas and how fast they are, and just quick little kills and all that, and you only get to hear them. That's what I loved about the first movie. But now that you kind of have the idea what they look like, what they do, what how they work in a way from the first movie, and the sequel, you should be able to see them more. And thankfully, this movie does that, is to where you get to see the creatures full up front. You get to see the full design. You get to see them up close. They're never hidden in the dark. They're never really hidden at all. You get to see them front and center, and they look great. Now, I will admit there are some points where I thought the CGI was pretty noticeable, because there were a few shots, very few, to where you can kind of notice the CGI. It didn't bother me too much, but the CGI of the creatures, since you get to see them full front and center of the movie, they look great CGI wise. I think the design of them is fucking awesome. Now that you get to see them the full design of them, I think they look great still. So yeah, for a sequel to A Quiet Place, it was very cool to see them up front and center, and I'm really hoping day one will do the same thing. Now, this is just me because I'm a huge Last of Us fan. That's my favorite video game of all time. I also talked about the TV show when it was coming out. But I like how this movie kind of has like a Last of Us like tone and like feeling to it, because of Killigan Murphy and the daughter of this movie. Their journey in this movie was so much like The Last of Us to me. The entire time, I was just like, this reminds me so much of The Last of Us, which is a good thing, because I love that fucking video game. It's my favorite game of all time. Like, their journey and what they go through throughout this entire movie just reminded me so much of The Last of Us. And I love that, because Killigan Murphy's character reminded me a lot about Joel, because he's a very broken character. He's very kept to himself. He doesn't really want to help the girl at first, but he soon comes to his senses and realizes that other people do need help. So he's willing to risk his life to go to the other side of this city to get to a boat and go to across the island, which is like a 4 day trip there. Like, it's a great journey that they go on. It just reminded me so much of The Last of Us. I love that. Like, I get, again, Killigan Murphy's character just had a lot of resemblance to Joel from The Last of Us, because his story, the way he's performed by Killigan Murphy, the way that his character has depth, like, it just sounds so much like Joel to me. Now the daughter of the movie doesn't really remind me a lot about Ellie, but she does have what she does have a resemblance to Ellie, is that Ellie has the cure to the the apocalypse, basically, to the infection, to the zombies, basically. And the daughter in this movie has the weapon to kill the creatures. She has her hearing aid to kill these monsters. What else do I need to explain to you why this reminds me of The Last of Us? However, I do love the movie, but I do have a few negatives. And my first negative, if anything, it's a nitpick. These characters, some of these characters make some of the stupidest decisions, especially the son of this movie. The son of this movie really pissed me off on some of the decisions he made because Emily Blunt leaves to go get oxygen, to kind of go get some supplies, go visit their dead son's grave and all that. She has her own little section in the movie, but she doesn't really do much in the movie. But as she's gone, the son has to look over the baby, but all of a sudden, when he's holding the baby, he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna go leave this place. I'm gonna go look around and possibly make noise. That's not gonna kill me at all." So he puts the baby back in the casket, he goes, walks around, and he finds Killian Murphy's dead wife's dead body.
See that? That's a stupid bitch.
And he makes noise, and then the fucking creature comes along. The creature came along and almost killed him and that fucking baby because of his stupid ignorance and wanting to leave and going and explore. Why would you do that? If I was in an apocalypse, I'd be like, fuck that, dude. I'm staying down here where it's safe. Fuck you. Like, why would you leave to go up there? And especially towards the end of the movie where the daughter, she's right there by the fucking microphone about to put the hearing aid on there so it can make the big ass noise so it'll bother the fucking creature. What does she do? Well, Killian Murphy's about to die, the creature's attacking her, she's just standing there like, it's like, fuck.
Get out the way, bitch.
Could do something. And my last negative, again, it could be considered a nitpick, but a fucking ending. It's not because the ending is bad, it's not that the ending is bad, it's just the fucking note that they leave you on. Have you ever watched a movie to where you watch the movie and you're watching it, you're loving it, and then all of a sudden the movie just ends, you're like, well, what the fuck? There needs to be more. There needs to be more. Well, what the fuck happened? You can't just end it like that. That is what this movie did to me. For 3 fucking years, I had to live with this ending waiting for another Quiet Place movie. Well, we got a prequel. I'm glad we were getting a prequel, but I want part 3. Come on, John. You made your If movie. Didn't do great at the box office. So make a Quiet Place Part 3 so I can get my fucking follow-up, bitch! Woosa. 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 All in all, guys, I loved A Quiet Place Part 2. I do prefer it over the first movie. I do believe it's a great sequel. It does everything that a great sequel should do. Take everything that was great about the first movie, expand the world, and show us more of the creatures and more of the world. And that is exactly what A Quiet Place Part 2 does. If you loved the first movie, you were going to love this movie. I absolutely love A Quiet Place Part 2, and I do believe it is better than the first one. So what do you guys think about A Quiet Place Part 2? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you prefer it over the first one? Do you prefer the first one? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you loved it, subscribe to the bell notifications so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.